Hello, folks. How we doing? How is everybody doing? I gotta show you this because he's been really cuddly today. All right. Just hold on. Just look at this dude. He will not leave my side. He will not leave my side. He's been so needy today. So I'm gonna keep him in the shop for a little bit and see if he gets bored. He needs a good brush though. Howdy, Brisket. Well, howdy to you too, Damascus. How we doing? Hey, Omegand. Hey, Ollie. How we doing, dude? How is everyone doing? It's been a hot day. But I already wimped out on a stream earlier in the week, so I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain, and we're going to stream tonight. But I have been in the warehouse all day, so if I sound like I'm tired or anything like that, just let me know. David Brown. Hi to you as well, I guess, Jake. Yeah, he's the more important one. As long as you're saying hi to Brisket, right, that doesn't matter. Hey, bud. Right, plans for today. You're on this camera. Plans for today. We've got the door to put on and all the door trim to do. I haven't figured out a good way of doing the door seal since the last time. Hey, Print Farm. So the door seal isn't going to be a thing, but I've got door magnets to install as well. We've also got some of the panels. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford all of the panels for the machine just yet, so we've got all the clear polycarb panels. I decided to change the design a little bit. It used to be that it just had one polycarbonate panel, and now, so we go to the monitor. Now, I'm changing it so that both these panels are now clear because I think it gives a nice indication through. For my build in particular, I want to have this side panel clear as well, just because this is going to be a show-off rig. So I can show it off at like Smurf or whatever, and show off all the electronics as well. So if you're building this yourself, that's going to be an opaque panel, whereas these two are going to stay clear on the bomb. But yeah, we might also be doing a little bit of the electronics today. We might do. No promises though. And it won't be any wiring or anything like that because I hate doing that on stream. But yeah. If you weren't here last stream and you want to know the good news, Jose last stream said that everything should start shipping in about a week's time, early June. So all the parts will be shipping out to vendors in that time. Let him know what vendors you want to ask, and LDO will do it for you, and I'll send him a list if you have a vendor of choice that you want to buy from. After that, pre-sales should be ready to go by the end of June, and I should be building one of those kits before pre-sales start. Right, so without further ado, let's get going. What do I need? First, I need to spin this around this way. I still haven't found a good alternative for the metal brackets, the metal door hinges, sorry. So I installed one earlier just as a test fit. So unfortunately those are sticking around, but I have beefed them up. I put 4 here, so that's a bit overkill for a door of this size. But hopefully it gets rid of the problem. Door trim, here's one. Here's a door I made earlier. Right, so I need to put that on there. First things first. And then if I can grab a clamp just to hold it in place, that would be delightful. Anyways, how is everyone doing? I haven't actually said hi properly to everyone. Yeah? Damascus, I saw that you said that you've been making some chips. What have you been making? What delectable recipes in aluminium have you been creating? If you're wondering what I'm taking out now, it's just the prototype door seal. I wasn't happy with it, so we're not doing it this way. I might just do the weather stripping like we did on the last one. Problem is, I wanted to do a TPU seal, mostly because it means that you don't need to, how am I going to say this? The weather stripping tends to wear down over time and gets a bit hairy. So I wanted to do TPU because that way it wouldn't wear down as quickly. But yeah. Young again. I posted it in the CNC other. Oh, cool. Oh, you're doing the watchmaker's ruin thing. Hey, Tommy. How you doing, bud? We got Tommy from Prusa in the house. Say hi. How do you like it? What are you thinking so far? Lots of orange and black. Lots of orange and black. Tommy is the guy who reached out to me. Well, technically I reached out to Nomad first, and then Tommy reached out to me about getting me the Core 1L. And it has been a fantastic machine, and I love it. Looks legit and awesome. Nice, thank you, man. A part of my mill project that I'm calling Mildred. Why is it all 2020? That's what I don't understand. Surely it's not economical at that point to do all 2020 when you're making a mill that size. And filling that with epoxy granite is going to be hard to do. Jake, you know that bit of metal I was trying to bend? Well, I bent it now. It's warped and I can't figure out how to make it flat again. That's the problem with sheet metal. You basically need a good reference when you're doing anything sheet metal. So you can get things called sheet metal pans if you're doing dome shaped, or sheet metal flats. But once it's bent, if you don't have those tools, you're basically not getting it unbent. Okey-doke. Those brackets look nice. I got 5 Miley V1.5 kits, super cheap. Oh yeah, I remember this. Cool. I'm getting distracted. You guys are distracting. And so is Brisket. Hey, buddy. He thinks I'm shouting at him, but I'm not. He doesn't understand that you guys are there. What am I doing? I'm getting very distracted. Clamps. Like I said, I've been in a hot warehouse all day. My brain is melted. Hey, Alan's here. We got everyone in chat today. We got Tommy, we got Alan. How you doing? How's Manny? I mean, you're my friend, I care for you, but how's Manny? Right now, care more about your dog. Oh, buddy, it's okay. I'm not shouting at you. Promise. King Brisket, hell yeah. Keeping the sunspots on lockdown. Yeah, I found that with Brisket. I would have thought Brisket would get really, really hot. So I always make sure his bowl's full of like water that I've kept in the fridge overnight before I leave for work, and put ice in there when I'm back from my lunch break and all that stuff. And the dude just ignores it and literally just bakes in the sun like a potato. I suppose I should actually show you guys what the front panel's going to look. Ignore the bits that are missing at the bottom. I just haven't mirrored them yet. But yeah, so I want the trim to kind of sit flush with the panels, because I think it looks weird when the panels are offset forward 9mm, the printed ones, from the frame. So I wanted at least one whole face to be flush with each other. Dogs are gonna dog. Yep. That's not wrong. I bought a bunch of M4 T-nuts just to do these, and I'm pretty sure they've shortchanged me on them, because I ordered 50 and I only counted 30 of them. But I remember ordering 50. Tommy, if you're still in chat, let me know if you want me to write anything up, because you mentioned when we had our meeting a while ago, you might want us to do like a little blog spot for the Prusa website about Milo and stuff, and I'd still be down if you are. Once you get the project is closer to be done, we can talk about it. No rush. Okie doke. Okie doke. I might need to ask you if I can get some more Prusa ASA. Because I went through a kilo doing all this, all the accent parts, and I need 3 kilos for the main build. So I need just about 3 kilos. I might be able just to stretch through, but yeah. It was an early revision, so 260mm C-beams. Oh, okay. Did you get them from Fabreeko by any chance? Because when we started the whole project, Fabreeko were the first like partial kit makers, and they accidentally ordered loads of loads of the old versions of the C-beams before realizing that they got it wrong. Send me on Discord. I can check it tomorrow. Cool. Cool. Just more V1.5 stuff. God. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad V1.5 is still a thing, but damn, I didn't think it would last this long. It's been 3 years since V1.5 came out. Just to make everyone in chat feel a little bit older today than they felt 10 seconds ago. I have an idea with some aluminium extrusions about Milo size. Everyone loves modding, starting mods on Milo. Loads of people never finish mods on Milo. But you know what? That's kind of part of the hobby, isn't it? Everyone gets in over their heads originally. That's how we started the whole project, so. Right, once these 2 hinges are on, I can actually start doing the other bits and pieces. V1.5 is still a very good CNC. Yeah, nothing wrong with 1.5. I still doesn't mean I don't like V2. Obviously, I like V2. I designed the thing. And there's also the whole thing with this big chunk of scrap at the minute. Well, it's not scrap, but I do need to get back to Atlas. I can't get back to Atlas until I have a machine that I can prototype on Atlas, because it's costing us too much to get prototypes from JLC. And considering how many small changes I make every day to CNC parts, it becomes quite costly after a while. Gotcha. All right, so that should be enough to take the clamps off at the very least. Yeah, we had the discussion on V1.5 versus V2 a few times. They're both good, just different. Yeah, I wouldn't even say they're that different, to be honest. Right, so that will open all the way. Cool. That's good to see. Problem with these is if you push them too far in the opposite direction, see there's a little bit of play there, these tends to put a lot of stress on the hinges, and they just don't like that, and they break really easily. Right, I need my magic box of parts. Magic box of parts. I'm gonna need some M3 by 10s. I did refresh my supply, so we should have loads of those. And then I'll also need some M3 T-nuts, which is this box. You could ask some UK Milo owners for help. Well, ignore that for now. It's not a case of people who aren't willing to help. It's a case of people who say that they're willing to help. We send them materials or send them cash to buy stock, this, that, and the next thing. And then the part never arrives. And it's happened a few times, especially in the early days of Milo. And everyone's Milo is built to a different spec. So some people have them really high, set up to hold really high tolerances. Some people have them set up to hold like 0.1 millimeter tolerances, which is not the greatest. It's actually pretty bad, especially on Milo. So you can't trust that everyone's machines are going to work together. Not to say that the UK builders aren't making good machines, because they probably are. It's just more of a, I can't rely on it. There's always a big thing with reliability in this project. The thing with Milo is I've never had one break on me. I've never had any of my Milos break on me. And they're robust machines in that way. They're simple, but they're extremely robust. What are you growling at? And I forgot where my point was going. Completely. Ignore me. I got distracted by him growling at something. Right. Parts, 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 parts. Magnetic hook. Trim. Tommy, a question for you. Why is the print bed in the Core 1, well, Core 1L, I'm not sure about the Core 1 because I haven't seen one in person yet. Why is it slightly textured and not just the straight flat PEI that's on the Mark IV or the Mark, or even the Mark III? It's very, very slightly textured. It's great because it means that even on black filament, like it doesn't look like your hands are staining it, and I love it. I'm just wondering what the shift was, what the mentality was. Alright, still missing one bracket somewhere. So there are 3 different sheets: PI, satin, and textured. This is the satin sheet. Gotcha. Gotcha. And do all the Core 1Ls come with the satin sheet initially? You may notice that I've added the wiper mod on this. That's the only mod I've made so far, and it's not even because it was failing. The only time it failed ever, was when I tried to print TPU with it, and some of the TPU got strung up on the nozzle itself, and it just failed to do its initial level. But the machine told me so and stopped, and then we just re-leveled it. That's the only reason, and I had to print a bunch of TPU, so I thought I'd better be safe than sorry with it. But that's the only time it's ever failed. It's actually really good. Basically, it all comes down to how much materials stick to them. PEI sticks a lot, often too much, and textured less. Satin is the perfect middle ground. Almost everything works on. Core 1L comes with satin, regular Core 1 with PEI. The Core 1L, we expect more engineering style materials, so it makes more sense. Cool. No worries about the mods. I encourage them, make the printer yours. Yeah, perfect. That's something you won't see with bamboo, especially nowadays. Gotcha. All right, I need M3T nuts. Oh, I am low on M3T nuts. I may have to steal some from a different kit. I'm definitely going to have to steal some from a different kit tonight. I'm going to get the door magnets in first because I think they make the most sense to get in. Right. In fact, let's glue those magnets in now whilst we're messing around. Is that one? Yeah, those are the correct ones. Cannon shots fired. It's not cannon shots if it's true. I have 2 bamboo printers, right? I have 2 bamboo printers over there. They're becoming more and more annoying to use every day, right? I have had Clipper printers. Now, Clipper's a great firmware, and I love my Vorons. But do you know how nice it's been to have a Marlin-based printer that does everything I tell it to the minute I tell it to do it? Not even the minute, the second I tell it to do it. That's all dried up. Like, genuinely, and it sounds ridiculous, but having a firmware that I can just tell it to do something and it does it instantly without having any processing in the background being done or having to buffer because my internet signal's bad has been wonderful. And it's saved me so many headaches. So that needs to go that side. Oh, is this the correct side? Yeah, that's the correct part there. So that's repelling, so it needs to go in this way. Awesome. I mentioned this before, but I've considered running Marlin on my printer since I'm now building 5 Tridents. I can justify using one of those for experiments. Why are you building 5 Tridents? Have you got some business opportunity that you're wanting to do? Gotcha. So let those cure for a bit, and then we'll go on to the next one. So these are just mirrored planes, one top and one bottom. I just mirrored them in Slicer. I didn't even bother doing it in Fusion yet because I don't know if it'll work. A lot of this is still experimental. If you've been, you'll know that if you've been watching the streams. A lot of this is live dev. We don't know whether it's going to fit until we see on stream, which is kind of what happened last stream, and I was a bit disappointed with last stream, I must admit. I want these to at least be the same direction, so those can go in that way. And then repels that way, so those can go in that way. I got 5 Trident frames cheaper than what I could get with 1, so I had to order 5 frames. Fair enough. I mean, economies of scale, I suppose. Now, where are you going to fit all these? That's the question. I thought you lived in a city, Jormungand. Also, Damascus, is that CNC that you're building in CNC Other your main CNC, or is it? Do you have a Milo and that's what you're making on Milo? Let me call you on Discord. Yeah, I forgot to mention this bit earlier. Jormungand is going to jump on stream just to be my second voice, like Phil was the other day. I find that it makes the stream a little bit more fun to watch. So call me when you're ready, bud. There we go. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No, I'm going to say you can't. Count. Voice. Microphone. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. There we go.
Okay, fair enough. There's a button to disable the microphone, apparently.
I thought you worked in software, man.
I work in software. This is hardware. It's a hardware button. So I don't know anything about that. No, I don't live in a city. I live in my next door neighbor is a field of 15 hectares, and the next one over is a 5-hectare field. I have my man cave, which is an old pig pen that I'm fixing up.
Oh,
it has enough for a lot more printers than just the 5 Tritons.
This is going to sound really weird, but how fitting is a pig pen for a man cave?
It is extremely fitting. And the best part is that there's a hayloft just on top where the floor is completely rotten because it's 100 years old, where I can set up a cinema. I did threaten to do that, and then underneath I'm gonna have a what do you call it? Like an illegal inn, right, where you can sell alcohol to people.
Okay.
All my neighbors think that's a good idea, but I don't know.
They think it's a good idea.
Yes, all my neighbors think it's a good idea.
I want your neighbors, man.
You can be my neighbor. We have several houses for sale, very cheap. So you can just move in.
Yeah, but
if
very cheap is probably still more expensive than what I can afford.
So my house I bought for 100,000 euro ish.
Fair.
And that's one of the more expensive houses in this area.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's really not bad.
I got 230 square meters of living area, and then I think I got 600, 700 square meters of floors in total.
Jesus. That's really cool.
It's very
a good
cool.
idea till Taxman comes to audit, yeah. Well, it depends whether or not you live far enough away that the Taxman... What's your cover story? That's the question.
Mine? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a cover story. I want space, and I bought stuff.
No, I meant for the
you know where I work, so you know sort of what I get.
No.
You don't? You can guess, I guess, right?
Yeah, I can kind of guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of guess. I won't mention it on stream. Don't want to dox you.
Yeah. Nope. I'm also trying to build my Milo 2. I'm getting a spindle sent to me soon. That's a bit overpowered, maybe.
Fair.
It's 2.2 kilowatts. A guy got one for free that he wants to give to me.
Yeah. Damascus, I want to do a stretched atlas after this one, I think. You wouldn't really need to stretch it that far, honestly. The main atlas is going to either be 500 mil, like the standard version is either going to be 500 mil in X, or it's going to be 450 in X. So you're only adding 150 millimeter. Oh, not that one. I don't want that one. I want that one. Not that one. I'm getting these all wrong. There we go. That's the one I want. Actually, no. What am I doing? I want that one. Professional streamer, guys. Professional streamer. Awesome. Right. So it's not that one. I want that one. So those are now magnetized on. That should at least stop the chips from being able to open the door. I don't know whether or not people want a full-on lock for the door. I am going to be putting a sensor, an optional sensor, to see if the door is open or closed, which seems like a fairly good idea to have on a CNC machine. But at the same time, it's going to be completely optional. And CAD is working on all of that in the new next version of MOS. We did figure out that a few days ago that, I think not PathPilot, Datron uses Next as the name for their CNC firmware. So we might be changing the name very slightly just to not interfere with them. But yeah. Feel free just to chime in with whatever, Yomigan, whenever you want.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a bit confused right now because audio is coming in as you say it, ish, because I get it from Discord, but YouTube is a couple of seconds late, so it's a bit disorienting.
Here's a thing. Just turn the YouTube volume all the way down.
I did that.
Yeah. Try not look at stream. It gets really disorientating after a while.
It does. It does. It's very disorienting.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I guess I'm more lucky than you are regarding solar power, by the way, because you got yours pretty much taken away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That sucks.
I had them set up for the container.
Yeah.
But then I got the container taken away. So.
What happened? What was the story about that, by the way? I never really figured that out.
Someone's calling me. Where's my phone? Hold on. Just my girlfriend calling me. I will ignore her for now, and I will get an earful later.
My wife's been calling me while I was at work a couple of times the last couple of days, and I just hung up on her every time, even though she thought it was very important. It wasn't, and I was in meetings. So.
Let me just tell her that I'm on stream. Sweet. There we go. Nice. Right. What was I doing? What were we talking about? We talking about something. Oh yeah, the container. So basically, I got permission to use it as a workshop. Started setting everything up. Filmed that video of me doing the workbench in there. Bought a bunch of batteries. Spent like $1,000 on everything I needed. Only for them to then tell me that their insurance didn't in fact cover it, and I wouldn't be able to use the container as a workshop. I still have the container. I'm just not allowed to use it for what I originally intended it for.
It's basically just a container now.
Yeah,
but it is a container. Right?
It's not just basically. It is a container.
It is a container. Yeah, container for nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's fine. Since before the container, everything in here has been upgraded. So, you know, silver rainbows, not silver rainbows, silver linings, silver rainbows.
Yeah.
It's not really
silver
rainbow,
rainbows. I think that's not a thing. You can't get silver in a rainbow, right?
Well, I mean,
you can now.
At the end of a rainbow.
Yeah, that's gold.
Yeah, but.
Oh, regarding gold at the end of the rainbow, do you know where a rainbow actually ends?
No.
It ends inside your eye. So you're the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Oh. I feel slightly sick now. No.
I'm also the gold at the end of the rainbow because it also ends in my eye.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes.
That's cute. All right, what are people saying? Software named Natrod. Natrod? Cubed, what are you talking about? Why Natrod? Thought Phil was doing a Fat Atlas. He's doing Fatless, which is a different project altogether. So Fatless is what Atlas used to be. So he wants to do a fixed gantry style machine. I want to do a router style machine because I think a router style machine will fit more people more often. So he's taken what I started with on the original concept for Atlas, and he's changing it a load to suit what he's doing his small changes to suit his setup. Whether or not it's going to be an official project remains to be seen. There's no animosity. There seemed to be a few people last stream who thought that I was upset that he's doing this. I'm not upset at all. It's just I want to go one way, he wants to go another. So we're kind of just co-developing in different directions.
It seems to me you're too busy to be upset about stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of people seem to get upset about a lot of weird stuff in this, not this specific community, but the overall maker slash 3D printing community.
Some people have egos. But I think most people are pretty good at just sharing stuff and
it's those with
appreciating people's cool stuff. Yeah.
It's the people with egos who you see most often, and that's the only that's the whole thing about it. Like, not 90% of people absolutely fine. It's the people.
I think everybody I talk to almost are the people who share stuff. I don't have the impression that there's a lot of people who have egos, but definitely yes, they do. They do make more noise.
I'm off again. It was a long day. Enjoy the stream and have fun. Cheers, Tommy. Thanks again for the printer. Right. Next stream, guys, is either going to be tomorrow or the day after. I'm just going to get this point here. I want to do a Patreon only stream. So if you haven't signed up to the Patreon already, don't feel like you have to or anything. But we are going to be doing. No, bad Jormungand. No.
Okay, you don't have to.
It's not going to be doing anything overly productive. It might just be like a print and chill, just to prepare for all the Atlas stuff that I got coming up, or even get some of the Milo stuff printed and just have a chat. It probably won't even be more than like half an hour.
I'll see if I could show up at least.
Yeah. Oh, you better show up now. Now that you
told everyone. I have to. Yeah. I'm donating to Patreon. I have to show up. I have to get my money's worth, right?
Oh yeah. Are you trying to tell me that this is not getting your money's worth?
You don't owe me anything. The work you're doing is worth patronizing. Patronizing? No, funding. No, I'm not patronizing. The opposite.
I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who gets tongue-tied on stream.
Oh, you should listen to me just talking randomly. I can try to say like 3 sentences at a time and jumble all the words for each sentence, of course. So I just say random words. I know exactly what I'm trying to say, but it's just not the words that are coming out.
Yeah, this is why I tend to use the phrase, if you understand what I mean, at the end of everything I say. Because I can't guarantee that people do, in fact, understand what I mean.
No, not at all. It's a bit annoying when you have to describe technical stuff to people, especially people who don't speak the language you're speaking very well.
Yeah.
I do that a lot at work. It can be interesting. Sometimes you have to explain the same things 4 times.
Damascus, it makes sense to have both designs out there. The double axis drive adds new problems, but you can easily stretch it. Above a certain size, it doesn't make sense to sling the bed back and forth. True. But it's more of an ethos thing. So one of the things that we try and do as a design team, or at least I try and do as lead designer, is I try and make everything as accessible as possible to everyone. Fatless requires a CNC machine that is bigger than Milo, and requires a bunch of other machining to be done. So part of the reason I went with the Atlas route rather than the Fatless route is because it was becoming prohibitively expensive to do the Fatless. So whereas Atlas you can probably get away with about 2.5K worth of material and parts, Fatless is going to be more on the 5K to 6K type machine, and at that point you're entering the territory of other professional machines where you can get support as well. Hi.
2 seconds. I have a kid.
It's all good, man. Okie doke. Right, I'm gonna get a panel on here so that I don't need to worry about getting it sorted up later. So small panel. Woo! Oh, Brisket's doing the stretches.
Now you've seen evidence that I at least think that I'm a dad.
You at least think you're a dad.
I'm convinced.
Well, better you than me.
You should have a kid.
No, not. I have
Yes.
a kid. He's called Brisket.
Yeah, you should. Brisket should have a play friend.
Yeah, another dog.
No.
I nearly adopted another dog yesterday, but the owner ended up coming around the corner. We went for our morning walk, and there was just a stray. Well, what I thought was a stray because it didn't have a collar or anything. Turns out it was just one of the guys who lives down my road, whose dog jumped out the window.
If you were still part of the EU, you could have just stolen that dog now, because if they're not marked, you can just do whatever you want with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those things that's legally allowed, but morally it just seems wrong.
Yeah, I think that law is not going to be really doing anything in real life, because I mean, if I see a dog, at least where I live, I know who owns that dog, right? Or something's really, really wrong.
Could you imagine, like, it's your best mate's dog, and he escapes one day, doesn't have a collar on him for whatever reason, and then he just rocks up your house a month later, and you've got his dog, and you're like, no, not yours anymore.
Yeah, I chipped him. He's in my name now. My dog.
Yeah.
No. No, I got too many cats. If you want cats, I got cats. One of them is making more cats.
It's all right. The cat distribution network works its wonders.
Yeah, they just show up and then you have a cat.
Yeah. Right. Door stripping, weather stripping time. I hate doing this stuff, and you can all laugh at me whilst I do it on stream.
We all have the same problems regarding this stuff. So we can laugh at you, but then we're laughing at ourselves as well.
You heard it here, folks. You laugh at me, you laugh at yourself.
Yep.
Right. The problem is I don't even have a nice spot to do this in. Right.
Right.
You can tell I'm concentrating because I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, and everybody else is concentrating at looking at you concentrating. That's why people are not
feedback
writing
loop.
anything.
Yeah. I'm a trendsetter,
Yeah.
man. I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah.
There we go.
All of the 9 people who are now watching should make comments.
Oh. 9 people. Do we have 9 likes?
And now
Is
it's
it
down
9
to 8,
likes?
apparently.
Oh god. Goodness.
And only 3 likes.
Gotta pump those numbers up. To be fair, all the Americans are still at work.
They can just work normal hours then.
They are working normal hours. It's just that it's like midday for them.
They're working 9 to 5, right?
Working 9 to... You've got that song stuck in my head now.
Sorry. It's just I show up at work at 7:30.
Yeah.
So if you start working at 9, you're late. There's a couple of us, actually we live in the same area and we have to drive like 100 kilometers to get to work. And we all make the same joke. Whoever shows up first gets to say a good day to everybody else, and everybody else has to say good morning to that person. Usually I'm number 2.
How the hell do you drive 100 kilometers?
Same way you drive 10 kilometers. You just do it 10 times in a row. And I drive 200 kilometers in a day.
I walked into that one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Oh, God.
While standing still.
Stop it!
I'm very sorry.
It's all good. OVNC says he's working right now. Should you be watching Milo content whilst you're working? Probably not. Are you going to do it anyway? Probably.
Oh, he has to listen to all the jokes.
Oh, yeah.
At your expense. Or so we can laugh at ourselves.
Hey, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anything. And if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yes. Do you want me to make you an inappropriate joke? It's not too bad.
Okay.
It's a play on words in Danish. So one word for fun in Danish is skæg, which is also the same word as for beard. Mm-hmm. So we said that you only have the fun you sit on. Because you have hair where you sit, right?
Yep.
Because it's called ass beard.
Right, so we're never inviting Yomagan on stream ever again.
You knew this when you asked me.
This is true.
Yes. It's very fun to tell kids because they don't know it's a play on words thing, a pun thing, and then they'll figure that out with jokes like this, right? So it's really fun when you see like a 8-year-old kid and they understand what's going on.
Fair. Right. All the brisket hair. There, wiped off. Okie doke. Right, next corner. David really likes a joke.
It's a very good joke.
Oh. I didn't think of this. We may have a design flaw.
Never.
Yeah,
it's the world that's conspiring against you.
Oh yeah, always.
Yes.
I didn't. Damn it. This is actually quite a bad one as well. Right, let me get the camera sorted. See. I didn't see this one because it was covered up in CAD. So the corner just here interferes with the hinge itself, and that's of the panel. So I can't even make a printed version really upsetting.
I guess this is why the clicky-clacky door mod for Vorons is the way it is.
Yeah, I need to make a printed version of it to fix this. A printed version of the hinge. Right, well that's that.
You could also go completely nuts and make one where it slides up on rails or something.
We wanted to do that for Atlas. It's
Yes.
just the problem is if you slide it up to above the chamber, you're limiting people who don't have very high roofs, especially in the UK where people have sheds.
Yes.
So one of the ideas was to make it like a garage door style where
Yes.
it pulls out here and then slides in the very top of the machine.
I've been thinking about doing a similar thing like that on my V2 Voron, and then using the same system to make an auto ejector.
Yeah, I just want to. I think have you seen the Vertigo printer, the one where it prints?
Yes,
flat?
yeah, where it tilts the bed, right?
Yeah, I think you could simplify that so easily and just put a Voron on its side.
Yes.
Yeah, have it because the thing is, there's the whole thing about like if you're printing upside down or printing normal way up, the overhangs don't get any better because gravity's still acting in the same direction. Whereas if you put it on its side, right, every time you move up or down to bridge, left and right would be a bit weird, but every time you move up and down, so what would effectively be the y-axis, you're moving with gravity, and you're effectively creating a column that works really well in compression. So your X movement bridging would still be weird because it would still be affected by gravity, but your Y extrusion would be with the line of gravity. So it would probably make that bridging, that form of bridging, better than if you printed it upside down or normal way up.
We should try that somehow.
Oh yeah, just
I'll eventually, when I actually get time to do so and the money to buy all the parts that I'm still missing, make one of the Tridents do exactly that.
Oh, cool.
Remind me because I'll forget.
I will remind you. Don't worry.
Thank you very much.
And
if anybody wants a cheap Trident frame, let me know because I got too many of them.
Have you ever considered double paneling the enclosure for more sound absorption? Yes and no. I don't think it would make as big of a difference as you think. The main thing when it comes to soundproofing is stopping air from getting to the outside of the machine. So if you're weatherproofing it, you're doing a better job of soundproofing it than you would be if you just had 2 panels, for example. I think 2 panels would help, but I don't think it would produce the noise reduction that you're expecting, or the amount of noise reduction that you're expecting.
I think maybe the reason why like windows that are double paned do add some sound absorption is because you don't have air inside.
Yeah.
That really makes a big difference. But once you get the air inside, it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah. And there is air traveling in and out of this machine, hence the fans. So, the biggest thing that you can do, in my opinion, is isolate it from the ground or whatever table surface you've got it on. So if you get one of those washing machine mats, put it under the machine. At least at that point, you're not transferring the vibrations through your floor, through your table, and those are acting as secondary means of sound production.
You could also do something like hula feet or something like that. They
yeah, I suppose, but I wouldn't want that on a CNC machine.
No.
Yeah.
No. Definitely not.
Also, I don't understand the whole thing with the hula feet. Like years ago, we moved away from sound absorbing feet style things
Yeah,
in 3D printing.
Yeah, I get them installed on my big ass V2, and I mean they don't do anything to the print as such. But what they do, or what I told myself that they do, is that they make whatever it's standing on vibrate less. So it's my printer is on a kind of rickety table, and that's no longer. It no longer looks like it's gonna collapse when I print stuff because of the Huda feed. I tell myself at least. I haven't done like scientific experiments or anything, but I think I noticed the difference after I installed them. Could also just be I made a lot of effort to install them, right? I don't know.
So, one thing we need to improve on as a community of makers is actually testing our designs, because the Nevermore filter. So I have a VOC detector. I borrowed it from a mate of mine who works with hazardous material, and he has a little handheld VOC thing. The Nevermore filter inside the chamber barely does anything, and directly outside the chamber doesn't do a whole lot. And that's with fresh carbon pellets. But I do have it on good authority from him that the amount of dissipated VOC through a normal size room, so a size like this, is actually quite harmless.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I got mine running, and my wife claims that it makes a difference on the smell.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that.
I can't smell anything, so it doesn't really make a difference to me.
Oh, fair. See, right. I feel like I don't have that strong a sense of smell, and then I end up I have a really good sense of smell for food. So like I can smell when my girlfriend's making food from outside her flat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can smell food very easily as well, especially good food.
Oh yeah.
But stuff that I don't care about, I tend to be not very good at smelling. And I have a feeling that maybe sometimes my wife thinks she can smell something that doesn't really exist, but I can't really verify.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of smell, like most of your taste is actually smelling, right? I had corona just when it was peaking, and I got admitted to the hospital because of it.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I couldn't smell anything, and I couldn't taste anything because of it. And then I got hospital food, and it was all the foods I never wanted to eat ever in my life, and it just tasted so good. It was the weirdest experience.
That reminds me of that fruit that you can have. So there's a fruit, I think it's called a wonderberry, a genuine name. It's a weird, but the whole thing about it is that if you eat one, anything that's got like a citrusy taste, so like a lemon or a lime, you can eat like an apple because it makes the taste really sweet. Yeah. So anything citrus, it just turns into something amazing. And
I should get some of those.
Yeah, I really want to try.
But yeah, I did hear about that once.
I wonder how it makes like lemon cake taste. Does it make lemon cake which is already sweet just taste even sweeter?
But that's a good question. We should get you some of those wonderberries so you can tell us.
I need
so
to.
Where do you actually get those?
You can buy them on Amazon actually.
Okay.
You can buy like little dried sacks of them.
Let's see.
Where did I get those M3s? Is that the last of them?
I can find a lot of music and books on Wonderberries.
Oh. They might not be called wonderberries then. I might just be remembering that bit wrong.
There's something called wonderberry or sunberry. This is just the seeds. So if I send you 100 seeds, you can grow them, and then you can tell us in like 10 years, because that's probably how long it will take before you get some.
In what garden?
In your container.
In the container.
Right? Yeah, just cut off the top. Then you get 2 containers, and then you can have twice as big a garden, right? Oh, maybe I should plant them.
Yeah.
Then I can dig up some of my. Then I can dig up some of my grass. I have way too much of it. Oh, I have a I don't know if it's a funny story.
Yeah.
Can you see my finger?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, it's I got into an accident, and it's a long story with an accident, but it ended up with my wife spending 2 days cutting our lawn with an edge trimmer, because our actual lawnmower didn't really work. And then after my finger was sort of okay again, I fixed the lawnmower, and then I cut the remainder of the grass in like 10 minutes, and then she was just looking at me like I was the most evil man in the world. Spent 2 days cutting down 1,200 square meters of grass. And then I took the last in no time.
Yeah. Right, there we go. Right, that's all the corner bits in. Right. For now, I can just set that in the frame and have it in with the magnets. Just to get a feel of what it looks like at the very least. I think I made another. Oh, my design skills are not on form right now. This is why I gotta test things before stream.
Then why would you stream? That's the point of stream.
I know.
So everybody can learn from the same experience.
My mistakes.
No. Same experience.
Yeah.
Be like Thomas Edison. Do not admit that you made a mistake. Just say you found a way not to do it.
Yeah, but Thomas Edison was also a huge dick. Who stole everyone's inventions.
We're not making that comparison.
You know, the inventor of the light bulb who didn't actually invent the light bulb, but stole it from another person.
The history of the light bulb is kind of interesting about the amount of people who actually pursued the same basic idea at the same time. It was not just 2 people. It's like a ton of people who tried inventing the incandescent light bulb in the same way, basically.
Mm-hmm. There's a book called I think it's called Sentient Light Bulb. It's the history of the light bulb, but one of the main characters is a light bulb themselves, and it's the whole conspiracy behind whether or not we can actually engineer a light bulb that never goes out, and the fact that there's a good reason why companies don't make a light bulb that will never go out, because they'd never sell anything. Hey Universe, how you doing? Damascus says they suggested the wonderberries when getting chemotherapy, since that kills your sense of taste. That's really interesting. I get that it kills your sense of taste and all, but what would the wonderberries do in that situation to help?
Maybe it enhances some forms of taste, some spectrum of the tasting spectrum.
Some spectrum of the tasting spectrum.
Yes. Do you remember how we talked about not being able to actually pronounce the 4 sentences that you're trying to pronounce at the same time? Maybe that's a mild case of that.
Did I just make fun of you and I feel bad now?
Why should you feel bad?
What? Because I made fun of you by accident. I think I should feel bad for that.
It's fine. I don't get offended easily, so don't worry about it.
Okay, fair enough.
If I get upset, you'll know. Don't worry.
Okay, fair. I just ate buffalo hot wings a lot.
That's a good thing to do, though. eating lots of buffalo hot wings.
It is. What makes them buffalo hot wings? This is a question because we don't have buffalo hot
Ha-
wings in
Have
the UK.
have you ever
Is that-
seen a buffalo with wings?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
That's why they cut them off.
I've seen pigs fly.
You see pigs fly.
Yeah. You know, mostly when my girlfriend's parents are taking a trip somewhere. But you know.
Is your girlfriend called Pepper?
Oh my god, no. This is actually, now that we're on the topic of my girlfriend, this isn't specifically about her, but it's about some of the girls I've dated in the past. So my girlfriend's called Jodie, and the girl I dated directly before her was also called Jodie. And the funny
That must have been easy, right? You don't make the name mistake.
Exactly. But here's the funny thing. I also, early when I was in university, within a 2-year span, dated 3 Beths in a row. So I went Beth, Beth, and Beth. So I keep telling my girlfriend every now and again that all I need is one more Jodie, and then I can complete that set as well and move on to the next name. And she does not look happy with me.
Well, she should just change her name then afterwards, so she can get back to you in a new name, right?
I won't suggest that to her because I think she'd rip my balls off. But
You're still like me. What I did was I showed up, and then my wife told me that we were now together, and then a few years later she told me that we were now married, and then immediately after, about 9 months later, ish, or so, she told me that I was gonna be a father.
okay.
And that's yeah, it was very easy. All I had to do was just stand there and wait.
See, ladies, that's how it's done. Like that's how men want you to interact with us. You know,
I may have actively encouraged all of those things, but
just maybe, you know.
yes. No. I have to leave you because I have to go to work tomorrow, and I have a very long drive, and I have to go there early, and it's late, and I've had a very long day because of solar panel stuff. So I am gonna say goodbye now, and thanks for all the fish and stuff like that.
No worries, man. And thank you for coming. It's always
nice talking to you.
Good.
Yeah.
See ya. And then there was one. Alaska says, I think the source comes from Buffalo, New York. Okay. But why is Buffalo called Buffalo? That's the real question. And what makes buffalo sauce buffalo sauce? The stuff that we get sold as buffalo sauce in supermarkets in the UK is just barbecue sauce. It's just like an Americanized barbecue sauce. Like everything in the UK, it's slowly becoming just more American. All right, there we go. Probably not going to do the full front window now that I don't know that the hinges won't work because there's some clearance issues. It's not an issue on V1.5 or the Casa R2 because the panel sits inside the extrusions. but then you have to cut the panel to an odd size, and it looks weird being inset rather than where everything else is outset from the frame. Why is anything called anything? I don't know. That's was one of the hinge sides, so these hinged ones can just go over there for now. Might be able to reuse them, I might not be able to. Who knows? M3s. Right, I'm gonna need to steal some M3s from somewhere. Where's the fastener kit from the UEB? Fastener kit from the UEB. There we go. I have M3s everywhere. They're just everywhere and not where I want them to be. Isn't it really annoying when something is somewhere else? That's not buffalo sauce at all then. Barbecue sauce is sweet, buffalo is hot. It tastes like Louisiana. I thought Louisiana was mostly swampland. So you're telling me it tastes like swamp? All right, you heard it from the American. I might be getting my states completely mixed up there, so I might be looking like a complete idiot right now. Also, is Louisiana Creole or is that St. Louis? But St. Louis isn't a state. I don't know what state St. Louis is in. Who knows? I have a sneaking suspicion everyone's going to go have dinner. Because we started with like 12 people watching and now we've got 5. Other than buffalo wings, what's on the menu for tonight? Oh, we've got 2 more people back. Now you guys can't see too much, but that's currently what it looks like. Right. Panel is going to be a bit vibraty, but I've got plans for the inside. That's another reason I'm going with this style of the press down, because when you did the inserted version of them, you had to have special clips just to have something pressing up against it to stop it from vibrating a whole bunch. And that got really annoying really quickly. No, Louisiana is mostly swamp, but has the best what? Has the best cuisine in country. Louisiana is Creole, former French colony. St. Louis is in Missouri, I think, in the north. Ah, cool. You learn something new every day. How's progress with Casita? It's back and forth. It's back and forth. I found an issue with the door, so with how the door's going to be mounted. So I need to rethink that. which is not going to be fun, probably means they're going to have to go with the same solution that clicky clack doors have, where it's just a slide-on mount. But I don't want to steal from clicky clack, from the guys who made clicky clack, because, you know, not my idea. I try and include as few other people's ideas as possible when designing stuff. And it's nothing to do with the fact I don't want to use them. It's a fact that I love this community. I love the people in it. And I want to make sure that everyone gets the acknowledgement that they deserve. And I know that if I keep using other people's ideas, I'm going to, at some point, forget where those ideas came from and either claim them as my own by accident or fail to provide the acknowledgement to the people who actually did the work. But yeah, other than that, it's fine. I got a smoke machine for this, by the way. I bought myself a smoke machine because it was like $20 on Amazon. I was like, yeah, hell yeah, that'll be great as like a visualization. And I thought if I bring it to Smurf, I can get the machine to do like a whole dance thing, get the RGB lights going, get some kind of music going in the background, and just have it on a looping track that it can just play through and dance the night away. And it's a good indicator of how well that filter is going to do. Because if I fill the entire thing up with smoke, it's not smoke, it's water with a bit of glycol in it. That's what smoke machine smoke is made of. That's a very good, or at least I think it will be, a very good indicator of what the filtration system will be like. So I can then time how fast all of that mist will dissipate. From the chamber. But yeah, I do want to put my RGB. I have my machine set up to tell me whether or not the e-stop has been pressed. I have all the RGB lights turn red when the e-stop has been pressed, when I know that the machine is not in a safe state, so the door should be closed. Now, question for you guys, a little bit of a debate in chat. If we do the door interlock, or the door sensor, at least, at the very least, if we do that, during operation, would you like it to e-stop or would you like it to pause operation? Personally, I would like it to pause the operation, but I'm not sure if that's a safety risk doing it that way. Because the thing is, it would be really, really annoying if the door sensor accidentally went off and then you lost all your progress in a cut. Pause for sure, pause for sure. We could probably make it so that it triggers a macro. The problem is you basically need to... The daemon file, so the daemon.g file that runs, is basically what you need to track whether or not a job in reprap firmware is running or if it's closed. So, for example, in daemon.g, I have to track whether or not the door is open during a job or whether or not it's open just when it's in idle mode. So setting a macro could be a little bit awkward because of that restriction. That's starting to sound a lot better already, a lot less wobbly. I've still got 2 more sides to do. Pause for sure, pause for sure. Any other thoughts? Everyone else agree with just pausing? Gotcha. Kate needs to be informed of all this stuff. God, I have a good team. I love my team. I love the fact that I'm at a point in my design journey where I just can throw things at other people. Be like, do that, please, help me. And then they're nice enough to actually do it. No more people saying whether or not it should be paused or not. Cool. I think that is our... Well, obviously debated as a team. Problem is there's a lot of thinking where if you do open a CNC machine whilst it's running, there's a chance that if you only pause it, you could possibly press unpause on the screen. And that becomes an issue. So maybe an e-stop would be better in that case. The ad on the server was something anyone looking for a dev. Yeah, well, he didn't read the rules. If he says anything else, he gets banned. What do you want me to say? Like, if people don't read the rules and they do things that are explicitly written down in the rules not to do, they get banned. I give them one shot, they get banned. I'll do the same thing with porn bots. I'll do the same thing with random people on the server. It is not an advertising space. Unless you have explicit permission from us, don't try and advertise. Oh, earphones are dying. Can you check for door open state whenever start program or resume feed and require confirmation? Possibly. Possibly. But you talk about requires confirmation as in they can bypass it if they say yes. The problem then would be that it would the daemon.g, because daemon.g cycles, it goes with clock speed. So it needs to be able to cycle. So what you'd end up with there is you'd end up with a loop where it would constantly be checking for the door sensor and constantly be asking you for whether or not you want to continue. It's something you could probably code around, but I'm not smart enough for that. I think Cascade has an e-stop at the door. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You thinking of building Cascade, Universe? The more and more I think about Cascade, the less and less I think it makes sense. But then again, Vorons in general make less and less sense nowadays. Unless you're just trying to do something fun and you don't care about actually producing anything, Vorons don't really make too much sense. But in Voron's defense, at the same time, they've never advertised themselves as that. They've advertised themselves as being performant and fun to build and customizable. I remember back in the day, Nero would even say, no, don't build a Voron for a print farm. If it's your business, just get a bunch of Ender 3s. Right. I need to put some heat inserts in. Let me get my camera repositioned so you can see what we're doing. There we go. Soldering iron on. I'll need some M3s. What are my M3s? Here's my M3s. I need 2 of these. No, I have enough headaches with this one machine. I can't wait to see the mods for Voron community comes up with though. I don't know. There's not overly that much you can do with mods in terms of creativity, at least that I don't think of. I think someone will do a rapid change at some stage. But we've seen it with the Milo community as well. Mods aren't as big of a thing as they are on just printers, for example. I think it's less scary as well to mod your printer than it is to mod a CNC. But for the most part, like most people will start off with a stock Milo. Whereas most people will skip straight to a modded Voron nowadays. That might have something to do with the fact that mods are more well traveled, I suppose, on Vorons. Like everyone mods them, so they're all well tested just as a default. Oh, these need to be smaller. in 3x8. So I need to remember to. No, I can't. These will need. No, I can. Never mind. Ignore me. Pretend I'm not here. That's something I'm also looking forward to. We'll try port them to Milo if I like them. Is that a tape or a large bearing on your table, Jake? These are, that's just weather stripping. It's just weather stripping. It's just tape. Okay, door handle on. Right. From an aesthetics point of view, very nice. Very nice. I actually like this way more than I thought I would. I was a bit iffy on the way it looked in CAD, but I am happy with that. Another nice thing about having the panel on the outset side is I'm going to model some ramps for chips. So the chips will actually have a way to, they'll want to slide away rather than get inside the extrusions. I'll probably just put it on the bottom. There's no point in putting it at the top because gravity. But it stops the buildup of chips from behind the door, so every time you open it, you don't get a bunch of chips on your floor. Not designed it yet because I wanted to make sure the door was in a good spot first. That's there. Something's jamming somewhere. I don't like it. So that's fine there. It's because I don't have the hinges. It's dropping. The whole assembly is dropping down. Go. Go. There we go. Yeah. Once the hinges are in, this shouldn't be a problem. But I'm liking that. Looking forward to Casa. That is sleek. Looking forward to Casa. What advantage does 4-pack have against Spice Rack? It's simpler, for one. It's simpler and cheaper. That's why 4-pack is a thing. So 4-pack is around more to cater for your average day-to-day type. The Spice Rack is an amazing bit of engineering. It's really cool. And for people who want to go a bit more overboard with their tooling, it makes sense. So if you're running really, really complex parts, it'll be good for that. For anyone who is not doing that, for the people who just run fairly standard programs, 4 bays should be enough because you've got your roughing tool, your finishing tool, a chamfer, and then 1 specialty tool. So say that specialty tool is a cobbed cutter if you're doing steel work, or some kind of engraving tool, or some kind of thread mill. So that should cover most of your bases with just 4 bits. But if you get any more complicated than that, if you want to use 2 different roughers, if you want to use 1 small finishing end mill and one big finishing end mill. If you want multiple different sized holes, if you want drills or anything like that, that's when it makes sense to go spice rack instead, because you're getting more tools. Right. For now, until I get hinge done. That doesn't sound too bad either. Obviously, we still got one side that's loose. Until I can figure out something to do with the hinge, I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to put the panels on the other two sides. Well, one side, and then I'll do some stuff with the other. I'm just going to adjust these, though. I'm pleased with the magnets. The magnets give a good amount of force. The magnet's going to give a really good amount of force. I'll probably try and reuse for V2, because most people building Casita will be building a Miley, because obviously it's for that specific machine. I'll try and reuse some of the M6 pins that you use to straighten the carriages. Because a lot of those don't actually get reused later on in the assembly manual. It's one of the things I wasn't able to reuse. So use those M6 pins as the joints themselves to open and close the door. But that does effectively kill the sliding door on Casa, which is a bit of a shame. We'll figure something out for Casa. We'll figure something out for Casa. Okay, this panel. Jesus, Casita's getting heavy. Who would have thought adding a whole load of extrusions together? Big fan, a filter, like 3 kilos of printed parts would start making something heavy. What is the timeline for Spice Rack? No idea. You'll have to ask Bright for that. I am not part of the Spice Rack development. I help out with the 4-pack every now and again, but that's mostly done by Alan. One of the issues we're having is we want a unified standard for the magazine itself, for the actual module. So whilst Bright's version is completely tested, his version that he's tested is for ER20. As for a specific nut on ER20, and it was all done in Imperial. So we A, need to convert that into metric, B, need to size it down for ER16 collets, because that's what most people are using. And then C, we need to make it work across both machines. Well, both different types. Right. That can stay there for now. I need magic parts bin. I need 4 of those. 4 of those. Ooh. We've got a mixture of satin and textured PEI here. We'll do the 2 bottom ones first. I've got to have more M3s somewhere. Oh no, those are only M4s. No, I did the wrong thing. Here's my M4 inserts. I'm not even going to need M4s anymore. Now that I can't do the hinges. The M4s were literally just for the hinges. I think the fact that I'm running out of M3s is a good sign for me to finally get round to going to the container and taking my old Casa apart. And then I can scrounge a bunch of M3s from that. I need 2 more serial quests to get M230. Why do you want M230? What's the significance of M230? There we go. It ends with 0. Are you the type of guy who has to either have the TV volume on a 5 or a 0? Or even numbers? Some people like even numbers. I don't like the look of 228 or 229. 228, I'm pretty sure that's a rifle caliber. Think of it like that. You could have a rifle caliber for your cereal. I can't explain why. Fair. Oh no! Gas is starting to take paint off my wall, or casita. A little bit of scratch on my wall. And 2 paint marks that I'm missing. God damn it. Oh. These M3s? I think these are M3s. We can keep going. We can keep going. I found some more M3s. Mumbralt! Is that not everybody with volume? What sort of animal would be okay with odd numbers? What kind of animal would be okay with odd numbers? 5's an odd number. 5's an odd number. I like to do all mine in prime numbers. Volume, I don't see the number after it fades away, so I don't care. If I see it constantly, it would end with 5 or 0. Fair enough. Some people like to be wrong, you know. Now that those bottom ones are in, let's stick this on so it will rest on those. Don't know if I mentioned it already, but one of the reasons I'm also doing this as a clear panel is because this is the side that's going to face you guys. So when I'm doing the overhead on some machining, when we do like machining streams, you'll actually be able to see inside through the side of the machine, not just through the camera that I'm going to be putting in here. Last time we did a camera in the enclosure, this spindle EMI made it really hard to see anything. So I might feed in the USB from one of the bottom skirts instead, because it shortens the USB run because my computer's under there, and it also means that I don't need to worry about the EMI because it'll be so far away from the spindle cable. Oh, I need to do. I nearly forgot. Oh my god, there's so much static coming off of these panels. I need to do weather stripping. The fun part. Really not. Hey, looks like we're getting a load more people back in. For the US folks, what time is it? I know it's a Thursday and it's an odd time to stream. Thursdays are always a bit of a hit or miss. Mostly a miss to stream. I'm just happy that we're streaming tomorrow as well. Well, hopefully. There we go. It's 3:48. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of you guys will be in rush hour traffic, coming home, or even still at work, for those of you who work till 5. Shamanist. Yep, general rule when unwrapping such things, avoid touching electronics. It's good that you reminded me of that, because I've got a bunch. I've got all the electronics for Casa over there. Well, all the electronics for Milo over there on my office chair. But oh my god, these things are attracting so much dust. I'm going to have to give it a proper wipe down after stream. I always forget how expensive weather stripping is. You think you can do one roll, right? It's not expensive as a single roll. But, for example, I've done 2 panels on this, and I've gone through a whole roll already. So, by itself, you think, oh, it's a $5, it's going to last a while. No. No. It does not. There's a reason I bought 3 rolls and I was only doing 3 panels. Jake, why don't you use shipping container anymore? We talked about this earlier in stream. Because, long story short, if you want the full story, head back to the beginning of the stream. Long story short, they told me I could use it, then changed their mind, and I'd already spent $1,000 on all the stuff inside there. And for other reasons, including insurance reasons from the company side, they will not even entertain the idea anymore. So they initially said yes, then changed their mind. I still have the container to use as a container, but I've still got the batteries and everything that I was meant to be using for them. They're just down there. Right. Weather stripping done. At least for that panel. Oh, sorry, I missed that bit. I was bashing metal. Are you still trying to flatten that plate? I can't find a table wide enough to fit Casa. Also, no available designs online. Yeah, unfortunately, that just do be the way. Dining tables work really well because they tend to be a lot wider. Hence why I've got a dining table here. But general workbenches tend to be only 600 mil deep, which I genuinely don't think that that's deep enough for a work table, but maybe that's just a me preference. Yeah, I heated it and got it flat now, but it's kind of mashed up and it's buggered all the measurements. I think Dave has posted a wooden table CAD. Yes, he does have it somewhere, but it's from years ago at this point. That's what I ended up using, but skirts had to go. Is that for a dinner table? If you guys ever end up having to build your own enclosure, just keep in mind the way that the door opens. It should always open in the opposite direction to where your e-stop is. Because if you need to reach out, if you end up being in the machine for whatever reason, and I'm not advocating that you should ever be in your machine whilst it's running, but if you ever do end up in your machine whilst it's running, you need to have a clear line so that you can reach out and hit your e-stop. So if your door's open to the right, always put your e-stop on the left. And if you can, it's not a bad idea to have an e-stop inside the machine as well. Could you get some 40/40 extrusion and build your own table while you're at it? Yeah, you can. A nice thing with Casa is because the uprights are all the way down, you can just get longer verticals and make a table out of that. Just modify the legs and go all the way down and add some bracing at the bottom. You really don't need 40/40. Like 20/20 is enough so long as you brace them properly and maybe even do some tensegrity lines. So literally just a cable that goes from one side to the other. Tie it nice and tight. You've got a whole CNC machine with storage. And if you really wanted to make it fancy, you can put doors on the bottom and have buckets that have all the chips and don't put the bottom panel in, so that all the chips fall down into the buckets and you can just pull them out. Now that's something I would love to see. See, that's why I kind of prefer not having a door on an enclosure. I don't feel like I'm trapped when being near the machine. The problem with that is you could also say the opposite. If you don't have a door, that bit can come straight out at you. Or unless you're talking about kind of a manifold cover where you literally just pull the whole door off without any hinges. But even then, there's a good chance the force of an impact would knock that door off, and then you've got nothing protecting you. So you need to have some kind of clip system for it. Ooh, someone's mentioned me in Discord. Ah, it's just Dave. Just Dave being Dave. Gotcha. That's what I think Kada was talking about a while ago. But he was thinking the full flood cooling, so like a few layers of sieves and a sump. I am because you could probably do that, and I have been thinking about it with Casita, because Casita's got about, I'm going to use some Imperial here, it's got about an inch of travel between where you could put a sieve, probably 2 inches. So if you add some skirting here so that you can have a sieve that sits flush with the extrusions at the top, you'd still have the space to mount it, and you can add some 3D printed no top no bottom layer, some hexagon infill, and have them in steps, so you're filtering all the big chips out and then recirculating that sump. The only thing about that is you would need to make sure you went round with a bead of silicon, and it would be a permanent fixture. You would never be able to change it after that. You know what? I would be... Tartu. Hey, Raj. How you doing? How we doing, man? I've still got to reply to your trident proposal. Raj has been ever so nice and said that he would take my trident off of me and get it to a working state. Not sure if the offer's still there. Hi, Jake. All is well. How are you? I'm not bad. Had not a rough day at work, just a tiring day at work with the heat. But I basically live in a work in a tin box, so it always seems hotter than it actually is. But it wasn't as bad as it was over the weekend. For the table, if you're bot fuzzy about it, a pallet and some legs. If you're not fussy about it, okay, cool. If you're not fussy about it, a pallet and some legs. They are pre-made in steel to get them into the table height. Yeah, something like that would work. Just don't overthink a table, right? I went originally when I had my first casa, I had an extrusion table. I've still got the extrusions. The problem is getting it to be stiff enough is a bit of a challenge because it likes to wobble a lot. And it's expensive. For what it costs me to get extrusions, I could have built 3 2x4 tables. And had proper hardwood. The bench that I built for the container, that cost me 200 quid to make. It was either 200 or 300, can't remember. Just the extrusions for a table cost me 400 quid. And I don't even use them anymore because they're not that good. I'm still really tempted by something like 950's plywood setup, like the drawers and stuff. With the drawers and stuff. Yeah. I think if I was going to make an enclosure again, that obviously I'm designing for most people here, right? But if I was to make my dream enclosure, I would probably do what 950 did, but with the verticals. They should like a hybrid design where I cut the bits off the skirts, I drop the skirts or the verticals of casita all the way down, and then the bottom is filled in with plywood panels, so I can put drawers in there and stuff. Hey, bud. Do you want to go out? Is it too hot in here? There you go. Go lie in front of your fan. I use 28mm stainless tubes for my XL stand on wheels. It's very stable. Yeah, but not all of us have access to 28mm stainless. Or is it 2.8mm you're talking about? Is 950 in the Discord? Yes, he is. Don't get him confused with 9 Mile. He's not the same person. Despite the fact that both of their usernames are motorcycles. I think they both ride Husqvarnas as well. But they're not the same person. The nice thing about is when I get this done, is that will be me done for Milo. I will... Personally, I don't think I'll be touching Milo again. I'll be passing the baton over to another developer. So once V2 is done and all out there and in the wild and all that kind of nice stuff, I can finally start thinking about mods. I don't mod any of the machines I develop. Specifically because I want to test them to see what they'll be like stock. And if I'm not running a completely stock machine and an issue comes up with a certain part that I'm not running or whatever, I won't be able to quickly turn around and be able to produce a fix for it. So like when LDO messed up the order for the extrusions for the Casa orders, they used T-slot rather than V-slot. It was really hard for me to come up with a solution because A, I don't own anything other than my Trident that has T-slot. And B, I have no idea, I have nothing to assemble it to. So I was effectively just guessing based off CAD when I designed the fixes for those. Right, that's that side done. Just want to check something. Will that fit there? No, it wouldn't. Obviously, because, yeah, never mind. And it never would have fit. But yeah, that's good enough. So that's that side panel done. Before we do the other side panel, let's install some electronics. It's not going to be crazy. We're not going to do any wiring today. We're just going to literally put DIN rail mounts on. And install anything that has a DIN mount. I was lucky I got them for work. Nice. Do you think there'll ever be a V3 Milo? Yeah. I don't see why not. So one of the promises that we make as a design team is that there'll be at least 2 to 3 minor iterations. So there'll be up to a V2.2 or V2.3 at the very least. Yeah, and that means all the main things stay the same. The frame stays the same. The linear rails stay the same. Everything else will stay the same. Or if there is a change in like the linear rails, it will be only one set of linear rails. It'll be very minor. Or we'll make the rails so that they can be cut shorter rather than make them longer. You know, stuff like that. The minor changes will be things like fasteners need changing, 3D printed parts need changing, stuff like that. And that is more of a promise to you guys because I don't like having to change frames constantly. I don't like fucking people over. So one of the things with V1.5 when V2 came out was initially some people who had a V1.5 weren't happy with the upgrades to V2 because they weren't able to do the upgrade path, hence why we did a V1.6. So V1 got V1.4, V1.5, and V1.6 as public releases for people to mess around with. And they all use the same frame. What up, guys? I'm currently going from 1.5 to 1.6. I'm not going to even try pronounce your name. I'm just going to call you Skirt. Skirt. Nice, man. Tell us about your build. How's it going? What about anything bigger than Atlas? This kind of goes back to my old point with Atlas is I want to make machines that people are actually going to build. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of Phoenix. Phoenix is cool and all, but I don't think it suits a lot of people. That's the correct way of saying it. Nice. There is Fatless. And you could always make a big version of Atlas or Fatless. Like, there's nothing stopping you. I think both machines will be stable up to a meter. A meter in X for both machines. And probably half a meter in Y, so long as you double up on motors for Fatless. And up to about anywhere between 600 millimeters and probably a meter in Y for normal Atlas. But at that point, it's probably a good idea to move to servos. Right. Let's get the CAD up, because I want to remember. Head. Top monitor. Come on. So I haven't got these bits in because I'm not totally happy with the design of them. The trays, the cable trays. So I need my MCB, then cluster 1, then DC power supply, then DC cluster. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Cool thing about the LDO electronics kit is they actually have a dual channel one, so MCB. So if I go to desk, the one that we've always installed, the minimum is just one channel. So you put your live in the MCB, and that's the kind of minimum spec for it. The LDO guys actually have a dual one, so you're putting both live and neutral in here. It's technically a little bit safer. It's not so much safer that it would make it unsafe just to do the single channel version, but this is technically a little bit safer, and I'm glad that they did include it. The conversation is going well, just had some trouble getting linear rails parallel. The conversion, sorry. The conversion is going well, just had a little trouble getting linear rails parallel. Also, 2 of the 3 compression plates for backlash nuts snapped. Sorry, man. LDO is doing a CNC version that they want to sell. I still need to ask them whether or not they don't mind me releasing the CNC version of those nuts, because there's technically a part that was on commission from them. So I want permission before I accidentally do anything. The great part about so if you've ever built a Voron kit from LDO before, they normally come with single or double channel. Either come with single or double channel terminal blocks. The ones that they've put in the kits are actually multi-channel. So you have your main input here, or if you have a big gauge wire, you can use it there. And then there's 4 inputs on every single one of these. So if you want to get 240 volts, you have 3 ways of getting it, or 4 ways of getting it from every piece. It's not too useful for the AC stuff, but for the DC point, right, you now have 4 ways to get 24 volt, which will be good for fans, it'll be good for relays, it'll be good for solenoids if you're running air blasts or anything like that. Well, there is the argument to be had that being safer or not, about it being safer or not, but yeah, it doesn't make much difference. Yeah. There is an argument to be made. I don't think it's one that is life-changing. Right, so how do I want this? I want blue. I want ground. You always want ground to be the furthest wire, right? Because it's the closest wire. You always want it to be the closest wire to the intake, because that way it's always the one that gets pulled last if the wires ever get yanked out. By ground, I mean earth. I didn't mean to say ground. I'm going by British standard, which is normally brown for live, but we only have the red here. So we've got yellow, which is earth, blue, which is live, and then brown, which in this case is red, is going to be neutral. I don't know how they want us to install these, because these are actually quite strong when you have loads of them on. I drop a couple of these off, these DIN connectors off. That's some cool connectors. Yeah, Bright told me about them. They're really cool. I just hope they don't increase the price by too much. I don't know if LDO is actually going for them. These were part of a test kit, the UEB. I hope they do. It's hard to install them together. That's why I'm getting rid of all but 3 of the DIN mounts for it. So they normally have 2 on each one. I'm just doing 1 on each. There we go. That's miles easier. Except for the last one. Oh no, the last one's already in. Perfect. On DigiKey, I got them for SCAD 2.5 for the 6-put position. Cool. Is blue not supposed to be neutral? Yes. No, you're correct. You're correct. I got that wrong. I got that wrong earlier. You are correct. Blue in the UK is neutral. Brown is live. You are correct there, Raj. Thank you very much for stuff like that. I do tend to make mistakes on. Don't take what we do in stream to be the Bible. Take what's on the documentation to be the Bible. Because I'm just saying bullshit on stream sometimes, and I get easily confused. Go. All right, so DC should actually be going next. So where's the DC cluster? I had the DC cluster earlier. DC cluster. All right, take 2 of these off since they're connected together. They only need only 1 per terminal. There we go. Spread these bits out. All right, so that's the DC stuff and stuff. And then it should go contactor, then cluster 2. How do I want this? Do I want it that way? No, that's going to interfere. Okay. Red is DC plus 99% of the time. I think the Chinese standard is also red for hot as well. Brown, this is live wire. In older installations, it may be red. Yeah. Red could be for signals such as between the switch and a light in a house that is so still mains, but it's not always live. In the UK, all I know is that in the UK, green/yellow is your ground wire. Well, sorry, earth wire. Blue is neutral, and brown, it's kind of reddy brown, is your live. And you always want your ground, sorry, not ground, you always want your earth wire to be the one that's closest to the installation, just in case wires do get yanked. So the last wire that gets yanked is always ground. Sorry, not ground, earth. God, it's really annoying. I got to install this fan as well. So this is the intake fan for the electronics. Move all the DIN stuff around there. I don't actually know what size screw I'll need. I haven't CAD'd this shit up yet. That's going to be way too long. That's 35. 30 looks like it'll be good enough. Ooh, hello. Same for Sweden, Denmark. Oh, cool. Hey, have we got another Denmarker? Have we got another Nordic person in chat? Has Jormungand been replaced? Nah, you can never replace Jormungand. No, I've put this in the wrong way around. Or have I? Yeah. Yeah, that's the wrong way around. I would never get the airflow I needed with the obstructions. Hey Jake, I am thinking of getting a Milo kit when it comes. I'm guessing you're saying Milo V2 kit when it come out, or just get extrusions and motion kit when it comes out. Got a lot of headaches with this one. Yeah, possibly if you can afford it. I would say keep your V 1.5 if you're doing it, and just buy a V2 as well. The last job came out nice, but I still hear chatter and some horrible noise sometimes when X and Y are moving. See, I saw that little bit of this on Discord where you realized all your rails were loose. I have a sneaky suspicion that's your main issue. It's those types of T-nut connectors that you've been using, and not the drop-in ones. Right? Sorry, you've been using the drop-in ones and not the well, they are dropping T-nuts. What am I talking about? You've been using the wrong type of T-nuts, and it's caused you issues. So I genuinely think strip everything down, give it a good clean, and restart the build. And do it with the proper T-nuts for a start. Because you have been the most unlucky builder of Milo I have ever seen. With all the things that have gone wrong so far. But you can hear the difference that other people, like Vinicius, you've seen his build and the noise that it makes, and it's beautiful. It sings. That machine absolutely sings, and it's pushing it. He's pushing it way harder than your machine is being pushed. I genuinely think there's something structurally wrong with how you put your Milo together, more than anything. Oh, you don't have the V1.5, just the V2. That's why I don't bet. Oh yeah, you do have a V2, sorry. I did know that. I don't know why I said it. I did know that you had a V2. Like I said, scrambled brain today. Scrambled brain. That can all be moved back now. That spins perfectly. What else? We can install the e-stop. Oh, forgot about that bit. Forgot about the collar. Yes, Brisket, I know. I want some printed mounts. Now, I need to figure out which ones are actually for PSU. I think these are the... I think that's them. So I need some M4s, because M4s are what you use on the power supplies, the Meanwhile power supplies. Luckily, there should be an M4 in here somewhere. Hey, found more M3s. So that's M3s and M5s. There we go, and we got some M4s. Very nice. Right, do I need... That will fit. Perfect. Perfetto mundo. Now, which way do I want these oriented? I think that way will be fine. So, here's the thing that annoys me about PETG. About PETG-GF in specific. Every single day I want to print with it, I need to dry it for at least 2 hours before I start printing it. And that is the main thing that has been putting me off. The quality of these parts, in terms of the side finish, the wall finish, is way worse than when I printed it earlier that day, just because it absorbs so much moisture so quickly. And don't get me wrong, you have to dry ABS every now and again, but once you've dried it, it tends to be fine for like a month. PTG, not a thing. I don't think I will ever come back to this material. And the glass fiber makes it even worse. I gave it a shot. I gave it a chance. And it betrayed me every single time. Some things are just born bad. And PETG is one of them. All right. What orientation did I do with PSU in? It makes sense to be towards that. Normal PETG isn't normally that bad. No, you're right there. You're right there. It does still need to be dried every few days, in my not opinion, but experience with it. In my experience with it, it does need to be dried quite often. This may be an issue. I think I'm actually going to put this on the lower rail. Sila there. PSU here. 48 volt PSU. Then you can go straight to the PSU if you need to for power. And that gives you loads of space for the VFD, because if you put this here, there's no space for the VFD. And depending on what size VFD you've got, that might be an issue. Oh, damn it. I knew these should have been ABS parts, just plain ABS parts, not even glass filled. Problem is, there's no bend to it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to reprint these in normal ABS so there's actually some bend to it. Am I missing a... Okay, Jake, I'll be getting the rolling T-nuts and do a full rebuild when I move in sooner. So I can't stand it. Let us know how the machined AB nuts go with LDO. I'll get, if I can get it machined, maybe. If I can get it machined, I will do a rebuild after I get it. Controversial opinion, but I hate glass fill filament. No hate, but I just prefer normal. That's absolutely fine. I don't actually recommend glass fill filament for people. I like it because of the aesthetics and because I get less print failures. That's it. Well, print failures due to warping. But otherwise, I completely agree with you. PSU I'll have to do in my own time. It'll probably be the same with these parts. In that case, I'll probably end stream soonish. I actually quite like it for ATC stuff, but otherwise not really. Yeah, isn't it? Honestly, I'm with you on this one. I'm with you on this one. A lot of the parts that have been printed in normal ABS have actually been the parts that are easiest to install on this machine. So anything orange, they've been great. Again, the only reason I use the glass filled stuff is because in the long run, because the parts I make are so big, it saves me a lot of money not having to worry about print failures. And up until very recently, I've just been running normal ABS. But since it took a really, really long time here in the UK to actually get warm, I was experiencing a lot of print failures. And I'd started with glass filled on this, so I was going to end with glass filled on it as well. Like I said as well, aesthetically, it also looked really nice. Also, any update on the LDO Vice? Nope. They told us that they were redesigning it months back, and we never got any updates with it. I'm not even sure if they'll be in the kit. Where is my LDO Vice? There we go. So this is the, I think they call it the Bulldog Vice. It's a two-piece Vice. The problem we had with these ones is it's an aluminium jaw, and the minute you start using it, it's going to wear down and stop being flat, and it's going to stop being a Vice. There's nothing wrong with aluminium soft jaws, but you don't want these to be... But the whole point of a soft jaw is you use them once or twice, and they conform to the part. You want steel jaws wherever that Vice force is going to be constant and varying. Sorry, not constant and varying. Constantly high and varying in shape. Do you have one? I'll buy it off you. I don't have one. I don't have one of the new ones. No, I don't have one of the new ones. If you want that one, just send me a postal address, and as long as you pay for shipping to Canada, you just have it. Right. Anyways, I think that was going to be enough for tonight. Thank you very much, folks, for coming. I know I've been a little bit off game today, just because it's so fucking hot and tired. I am going to be streaming again tomorrow. Whether or not it's Patreon stream, I don't know. I will let you guys know as soon as I know myself. Thank you, as usual, for coming. It's always nice when I have people to talk to on stream. I know it was a bit quieter this stream, but I think that's just what it's like on a Thursday. Other than that, if you'd like to donate to the project, there's always some links down the bottom, or the donate to developer channel on Discord. Don't feel like you guys have to. We do all this stuff without expecting any kind of reward from you, but it does help buy parts and materials so that we can test some stuff. If you haven't liked the video already, please do so. It always helps spread the word. And other than that, have a great evening. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.